Hey everybody, it's Wilson Leung from Own Real Estate here in the San Francisco Peninsula, and I often get asked, should I join a team or should I go direct to the brokerage and be a solo agent? And that's a question that I get so often. I decided to create a video to talk to you about major bullet points you should consider before joining a team or making the decision to eventually start your own and start off as a solo agent. And if this is the first time you've joined our channel, hit the like and subscribe button because we're going to be releasing a lot of new content over the next couple of weeks. So the question, should I join a team or be a solo agent? And that really depends on your goals. If you watched a previous video that we had about which brokerage to join, some of the key things that we mentioned there will be repeats here because it's important to first start off with what do you want to do with your real estate career? When you're considering starting your career, you're often going to be challenged with what the end goal is. You haven't experienced success just yet, but you're not too far away as long as you align yourself with the right brokerage or team. If your end goal is to plug and play into a system where you can leverage your network, but you don't want to worry about the details, joining a team is going to be an effective use of your time now and also in the future, as you will make sure you're focused on being in front of your clients versus all the other things that happen in the background that might bog you down. If this is one of your first careers and you want to give it a shot by being a solo agent and you have aspirations to one day start and build and run your own team, then being a solo agent might be something that you should consider. Now, there's a lot of conversations about being on a team or starting your own team, and the reason why you might be hearing a lot of it is because teams are the future of the residential real estate business. Teams are much more efficient and effective in balancing multiple things in multiple departments, serving the client without dropping the ball on service. And if I had to make a prediction, teams will only get bigger and more productive as time passes, as clients will look for the most effective ways to sell their property or to be able to find their dream home. You can see some of this already with companies like Redfin and Zillow taking on more aspects of the real estate process, not just generating a lead and getting a referral, but more so having their own agents, having their lending departments, and taking up more of the transaction management in the life cycle of real estate sales. Now, why does a team work in our industry? Well, there's a parallel industry that we should look at for an example. The best analogy I can give you to understand the concept of a team, not necessarily in real estate, but is that of a doctor's office. When you walk into a doctor's office, you typically are greeted by, not the doctor, the receptionist. And you're greeted by the receptionist because this person is in charge of making sure first impression is key, documentation is appropriate, and they are the one that gives you the clipboard to fill out the information. The doctor's not there because he or she's constantly in the office making sure, diagnosing, prescribing the patients. Usually the next person you see is the nurse who actually is going to take your vitals, take your measurements, ask you some questions to make sure he or she understands your symptoms to transfer that information to the doctor. And usually last, you see the doctor who spends usually the least amount of time diagnosing, prescribing, and you're well on your way out. And of course, you make the payment to the receptionist. Now, it's a well-oiled machine on purpose because if the doctor did not have a receptionist, if the doctor did not have a nurse, that takes his or her time away from seeing patients and doing the most critical work, which is diagnosing and prescribing. In our industry, that's called negotiations and so forth. And another analogy I'm going to give you is that of a higher standards department store. Now, when you think of getting an outfit for a wedding, are you going to go to Dress for Less or does Nordstrom come into the picture? Nordstrom is known for the return policy that's above grade and also the above grade service that you get when you walk into a store. Now, just like every Nordstrom, whether you're in Alaska or you're in New York or you're in California, the Nordstrom associate, when you finish the purchase of your product, they will walk it around the counter and say, "Thank you so much for shopping at Nordstrom." It's no coincidence that every Nordstrom has higher standards. They have a playbook And the playbook is given to all the associates so that they could perform to the expectations of the Nordstrom standard. And similar to your real estate team, you want to be known as the team that holds a higher standard because you are going to be sought after by your clients, by your team members, and people will want to work for an organization that stands for more than just your average salesperson. So these are the bullet points and benefits you should look for in the team or organization you're planning on joining. The first is the vision, the values, and the standards that the team stands for. And that's important because you want to make sure the team and organization you're joining is not about just making the money, calling it a day, servicing the client, calling it a transaction, but not an experience. So this should be laid out very clearly when you are determining which team you want to join. If you walk into an appointment with them and they just say, hey, we're looking for a salesperson, we got a lot of leads, and that's probably not the team you're looking for. You want to look for the team that stands for much more than just, hey, we're looking for another salesperson. Now with the two analogies, that of the doctor's office and of Nordstrom in the back of your mind, let's talk about the benefits and the bullet points you should be looking for in the team or organization you're looking to join. First is you want to make sure that the team or organization has a mission, vision, values, and different standards that are above the average in your industry, in your market. If you walk into an interview and the team leader is saying, hey, look, we're just looking for another salesperson and we got a lot of leads, and that's probably not the organization you want to join. Yes, leads are important. Yes, that fuels the pipeline so you can have escrows and closings and eventually get paid. But more important than that is what does the organization stand for? For example, our personal team, it's all about helping families build wealth through real estate. And families also include ourselves, our agents, and our staff members. How can we make sure that we can have conversations transparently about what they could make or also how they could influence how much they could make? And externally, it's to give our clients something to look forward to help them build wealth, thinking about the long term for them, not just, hey, it's another transaction, and once I successfully help you and your family, I get a commission check. Internally, you should also worry about or think about the team's vision for its own people, which I just explained through my mission statement. However, for other teams, you want to also make sure it's not just you are one cog in a wheel of a salesperson and you're disposable. You also want to join a team with higher standards because there's so many teams out there. What makes this one or that one different? Usually, the organization that stands out in your mind for any industry is one that holds to a higher standard of operation, whether it's showing up at a certain time, whether it's making sure you go the extra mile, however you define that. You want to make sure that you don't join a team that is just getting by so that they could get a commission check. A big concern for a lot of agents before they join a team is what is the team split and how does that work and what benefits do I get from there? On our team, we run standard 50-50 splits, 50 to the agent and 50 to the team. But what do you get for that? Now, the team that you join might offer different types of support, whether it's listing support, marketing support, escrow support, client care, so you don't have to answer any of the conversations once something goes in escrow, and any of the management of documentation, the marketing expenses, and all of that should be well managed so you don't have to worry about it. If you join a team and they give you aggressive splits, but you have to do everything yourself, you really need to think about how much time do these extras take of me and what is that taking away from my time that I could spend on sales duties, such as being in front of people. And the overall message I want to share with you is splits really don't matter. It's what you net at the end of the year. Do they have a track record of agents on a team currently netting more money? Are they transparently communicating that to you? Or maybe are they hiding it from you because no one's really making jack shit? Now, another thing that is crossing your mind is what kind of training is this team going to provide? Now, the team that you join is likely associated with a brokerage that provides training, but that's generic training that you'll get at that brokerage anyways if you joined as a solo agent. So you should be asking specifically, if I were to join your team, how frequent are the training? And also, what is the training about? On our team, we meet for a sales meeting every Tuesday, and we talk about what you want to troubleshoot. The most important parts of a transaction usually involve a first call, a follow-up call, any sort of consultation, and the negotiations of contracts, disclosures, and terms. And also once you're in escrow, asking for credits or making sure we protect your interests just in case we find material defect to a property that you're in contract for. You should ask specific questions along the sales cycle to make sure that they're not just training you to convert leads, but they can give you intel on how to take someone throughout until they successfully close on their home. You definitely don't want to join a team that is scarce as much as upfront during the interview. They're giving you information that you'll be a great team player, and they're great team players as well. But once you join, they have a scarce mindset where they're unwilling to share the strategies, the skills, and the tips to help you in your career. You want to make sure that the team you join, everyone is open-handedly welcoming you and giving you feedback when you ask for it. So you should do a reverse reference check when you talk to the team lead and it sounds good and okay, that you also ask to speak with the other agents and the staff members on the team. Next is, what kind of leads are you gonna get? And also, do you have listings to leverage? Because as we know in this industry, listings is the inventory, and you controlling the inventory means buyer's agents are going to come begging for you to work with them. You working alongside a team that is dominating on the listing side means that you will have a lot more leverage in your marketplace. You don't want to join a team that is just really good at working buyers, because unless you have listings, no one's going to know your team exists. So if they do get a lot of listings and it's consistent, are they willing to teach you to be able to take a listing on your own as well? Because there's many teams out there that are not willing to teach you to take a listing. Rather, you have to hand off any listing leads to the team leader or the lead listing agent, which is not going to make sense for you and the longevity of your career. Other lead types are also open houses, online leads, Zillow leads, Yelp leads. How do you work your sphere and also get referrals? And do they have a plan for you to also work those leads and be able to convince these people to work with you and teach you how to do that? Next is, tied to listings, is their market share in the area. Can you leverage stats for your benefit? And it especially matters if you're a brand new agent, that you work with a team that you can leverage their stats, so you are also someone that has experience collectively with your team. And of course, those are one of the disadvantages of being a solo agent unless you join a prominent brokerage and you feel like it's appropriate to utilize a brokerage's stats. The last is going to be the systems, the tools, and the additional support that you're going to get from your team. What kind of tech stack do they use? Do they have a good CRM? Are they using Google Suite? Are they using Microsoft? Are they having a dialer access for you? What kind of lead sources do they have? All of these will matter at the end of the day because it makes your life harder or easier depending on how much leverage you have. And by leverage, I also mean the people that you have access to that will support you along your journey, such as the people that we've mentioned previously, the listing coordinator that's going to take all the vendor conversations and bring your listing that you sign all the way to the finish line of being on market so you can focus on the sales process. Or it's going to be the marketing professional that helps prep all your social, that helps prep your postcards, your marketing materials, your open house flyers, everything so that you don't have to think about it, so you can spend 100% focus on the sales cycle. And of course, what about the creatives? As we get into a world that's all about social media and your presence online, do you have access to either in-house videographer photographers or a third-party contracted videographer photographer to help you with creating content so that you can connect with those that you love, your friends and your family members? These are all considerations when you join a team or an organization, whether they're at the brokerage level, they're providing these for you. If you have specific questions, please feel free to reach out and ask me. And also, I hope on this journey, as you find the right team and organization to join, this video has helped you gain some clarity on things you should be looking for so you can succeed in your career in real estate.